Hey there, you, me, and DC fans, and welcome if you're new. I am the stepson of Krypton,
I'm Mantis.
and today we are playing Scrap It or Tap It. Mantis, are you ready to get on into the game?
I'm ready to tap it.
Wait, what?
Not you.
Go. Okay. It's like cut the damn camera. All right,
You,
guys.
you need to put. Sorry, you need to put like game show music in here.
I was going to do Family Feud.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Are we still rolling? Yes, we are. Okay. All right, let's get into the game. All right, guys. So when we say scrap it or tap it, obviously you know what we're talking about. And if you don't, it is that James Gunn, as he has kind of picked his actors and actresses for whatever roles, he gives them the tap, is how it's always been portrayed in the articles, that he's tapped him on the shoulder. So Mantis and I thought we'd take it a little step further and we would do scrap it or tap it for the upcoming projects that we know about that have been talked about in the DCU. What we'd like to see scrapped and what we'd like to see tapped. Giggity. And Mantis, let's start off with, because we know if you follow a lot of the news articles, you shouldn't, because you should get your news here. But they're kind of bullshit, right? They're like, oh, the next thing coming out after Superman Man of Tomorrow, and it's amazing. It's this weird twist, and they're like, oh, it's Creature Commandos season 2, right? It's bullshit like that, right? It's definitely clickbaity. We try not to be clickbaity. I know we've been accused of it a time or two, but you're not on the internet if you're not being accused of being clickbaity. So, what we are going to start with is Creature Commandos season 2. Should Creature Commandos be scrapped or tapped? Should it keep going? Mantis, what are your thoughts?
I'm take it or leave it on that. Like, if it's gonna take away from production value money of the other projects, I say scrap it. But there were parts of it that I thought were funny. The animation was okay. It wasn't great, but it was good enough. And I I don't know. I need more from it, I guess. I want a more cohesive kind of storyline with it. I did the characters that they had in there were fine. There were some new ones that people probably hadn't heard of before, so I like that, which has kind of been the theme sort of with James Gunn's approach to redoing the DCU to an extent. Using some characters maybe people hadn't heard of previously. So, and we're just kind of getting into the meat and potatoes of that now with some of the new projects that are coming to, HBO Max, as well as like Clayface and stuff like that. So I you know, I it's one of those that I like, especially DC makes pretty good animated content, and it's weird because I'm used to like the Batman the animated series or Superman the animated series, and I've seen some Justice League animated series, or Justice League Unlimited, I should say. Not the whole thing. I know it's disappointing for you.
Because
But
there's
like,
Justice League and then there's Justice League Unlimited. They're two different
yeah,
things that actually tie together, and you haven't watched either of them fully.
I know, and I like him. But here's the thing: the tone of those animation or those stories and the actors and everything is just. I know they're old. And that's probably the reason why. Like they came out a while back, and this is like Creature Commandos is very adult centric, which we're going to get into with another possible thing here later on in this video. So it's a change in it's kind of adult animation in that extent because some of the themes and cursing and stuff that happens in there. So it's just not something that I'm like, yeah, yes, this was awesome type of thing. So it for me, it's like, beh. It's if it keeps going, it's okay as long as it doesn't take away from the other projects they're doing.
That didn't really answer the question. So I'll go ahead and say you have to give a definitive answer, but it's fine. No, it's fine on this one.
Well, then
I
let's
will
tap
say
it
go ahead and okay.
because I was
I'm
leaning
going
more
to
to
say
that.
scrap it. And the reason why is because so in Creature Commandos, we obviously saw what happened to Clayface. We got a brief part of an episode that happened with him, but we also saw Rick Flag Sr. get really, really injured in that series, but then there's like no mention of it. There's no anything tying back to whether it be in Peacemaker season 2 or in Superman that tied back to, oh, he's just coming off of some serious injury. So then what was the point? Like, you didn't set anything up thus far. Now, granted, you've only had one other movie and a couple shows, but like so far, like I would have expected something to be set up in Superman because you made it, oh, this is launching the DCU. So, like, if you're not going to live up to the name of having these things in there, just go ahead and scrap it. Like, don't overcomplicate and say, oh, the comics, the animated, all these are tying in, and then they're so loosely connected that people are like, well, what the hell, dude? Like,
Mm.
just focus on, like, eat what's on your plate, man. Focus on the big things you got in front of you, or take Creature Commandos and do it and just kind of keep it separate. So I'm gonna say scrap it. I like it. I really like Creature Commandos, but I just, as far as being in the DCU, I just don't know that it necessarily needs a place.
Mhm.
So let us know down in the comments throughout all of these guys. We're gonna go run through the list that we've got here. You let us know, scrap it or tap it on there. What would you do? So Mantis, Peacemaker season 3.
Uh, um, I'm gonna agree with what you wrote here. If you have if ending this series is means no more Peacemaker, that's a rough pill to swallow because I do like kind of what they did with the storyline in the second season. But there's a lot of political stuff in that that I just don't really care for. So that kind of is a big turnoff. And to be honest with you, kind of more on the scrap side here is the humor is kind of wearing thin on me with the Peacemaker series. So I'm good with them not doing another season of Peacemaker, and like you said in here, bringing them into the DCU like full time movie or as a character in another movie. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, like kind of like we saw him in Superman. The
Little
just
cameo.
Superman 2025. He had the little cameo in there and all that stuff. My thing is that I think, and I'll tell you this, guys. So I don't have data to back this up. I'm telling you this from real world discussions I have had with people. Now, that's a very small sample size, so take it with a grain of salt there. But from the people I have talked to who know nothing of the DCEU, nothing of the DCU, and are just loosely, like, oh, it's a Superman movie, I'll go see it, right? Thought Superman was a good movie. He's wholesome. He's saving some squirrels. He's this, but that tried to watch Peacemaker thought it was just disgusting. They just couldn't. It just seemed like you're just trying to make it vulgar and R rated. Basically, is what I was told. Right.
Mhm.
So I'm like, okay, and I get that. Right. Don't get me wrong. I love Peacemaker. I love both seasons, but it is a very stark contrast between going from a Superman to something like Peacemaker. I mean, fuck, the last episode of Peacemaker has "Fucking My Heart in the Ass" by Steel Panther, right? Like, and they play the whole song. It's not like it's a clip. Like the
Yeah.
whole ending 3 or 4 minutes is that song playing while it's just going on. That's a lot for a lot of people, right? Now, there's a group that found it funny and just like, oh, that's cool. But when you're trying to sell a franchise of this that's built around probably one of the most iconic and hopeful characters, that just, does that need to be in there, right? Yeah. Now it's kind of become about how far can we go versus story, because we didn't make it super far with what's going on with Salvation, and uh, end of the day he still killed Rick Flag, like,
Yeah.
we didn't solve that problem, so there's the hatred there. So I'm like, yeah, go ahead and cancel, like, scrap it, bring Peacemaker into the DCU, have him as that kind of, like, he can be a side character, doesn't need to have another season. Personal opinion. All right, so then let's talk about the one we know is getting ready to come out here in August, and that is Lanterns. So we know, and we just reacted to, check it out. It'll be showing up down here. If you haven't seen it, we just reacted to the second teaser slash full trailer of the Lanterns. Looks good. I'm hopeful for it, but Mantis,
Yeah, kind of in the same light there. We've really haven't had a good lantern centric focused project. I say good because then I'm not going to include the movie from back in the day in a long time. And this looks serious. It looks like they're not, it looks like a serious project and something they're going to tie in and possibly keep going. It's hard to make a like. I know it's on the list or scrap it or tap it, but at this point, I'd say tap it. Even though I haven't seen it, from what I've seen, it looks good. So you know,
So I agree. I say tap it because we need background information on the Green Lantern Corps and the Guardians. You cannot just launch a movie with all of this going on about how the power rings work and the Lantern Corps and the Guardians being some of the oldest beings in DC comics, right? So we need that background information, and the best way to get that that's in digestible bites is a series. So assuming now that they maintain good story and good acting, and we don't go really ridiculous with the visuals, but honestly I'll even give you that because as Mantis had said in
it.
the previous video, it's constructs made of green light, right? It's gonna look kind of ridiculous regardless of what you do, especially since it can't be a fucking spear like stabbing somebody. It's gonna look a little ridiculous, but that's the whole point of the character, right? Is they're doing
Mhm.
these energy constructs, but we need that information. And plus, because it's a universal peacekeeping force, we can tie into everything from the
Mhm.
Amazons to Brainiac to Darkseid. They know of Apocalypse. Like, it's too much to not go into that. So I say tap it. That may change after the first season we watch it, but as of right now, it's getting tapped. Giggity. All right. So then the one that is still kind of up in the air and we keep hearing back and forth, and every time we put out a video about it, there's a contradictory fucking article that comes out. But Paradise Lost, the kind of prequel series that's going to discuss the Amazons.
Mhm. Yeah, I think you need again this type of if this is going to be like the origin story, because again, this gives you ample time to explain a lot of things, let things rest. And if you're going to drop Wonder Woman right into the DCU, which I assume James Gunn's going to do, you can skip all that shit for the movie. Like you don't have to put that in there. You know, and don't get me wrong, like in the DCEU, how Zack Snyder did the first Wonder Woman film, which I fucking loved. And guys, I'm not a big fan of origin stories, but the way that that movie was done, it was great because I didn't know too much about Wonder Woman. So the only thing really I didn't care for that is the bad guy that she fought. But anyway, that aside, I think having the ability to do that prequel type stuff ahead of dropping the character as in live action, in the movies, I think it's a great opportunity to explain all that. So I say tap that.
So real quick, because you mentioned the movie, in Wonder Woman, the actual Wonder Woman movie, he's like this 5'8" nerdy looking dude, but in like Justice League, when they go back in time and you see Ares, I mean, he's the one that delivers a badass
Oh
blow to
yeah.
Darkseid. He's like this 9 foot tall cock diesel motherfucker, and you're like, wait a minute, why would you choose that for? But we're moving on to. I say tap it as well, giggity, because again, we need that backstory, especially because how long the Amazons have been on Earth, right? They're out there in Themyscira. We know in this universe, metahumans have existed for 3 centuries, right? So this is a good way to maybe get some backstory and again fill in some of the plot holes that you would run into of like, well, why haven't they seen this? Why haven't they seen this? So they've seen a lot more of what man's capable of, or potentially. So I think again, yeah, you could definitely use this, and it could help give some background information in areas that you don't really want to have to put into a movie when you're really trying to get people engaged. So I agree with you. Definitely tap it. Now I may get some hate for this one, but the Untitled Booster Gold project, where I'm not even fucking discussing it. I'm gonna say first, tap it. We need a booster movie. Sorry, we need it. But Mantis, what do you think?
um, I don't know because again, I'm not really familiar with Booster, especially at the level you are. Um, it just depends. Like at this point, I don't know where the DCU is going. I don't know if it makes sense because one of the other things we're going to get to later in this list, I'm kind of on the scrapping on that one, but this one I don't know, but because I like the ability that James Gunn is doing, not the ability, just his decisions of putting new characters in there. Fuck it, tap it.
Well, and I think Booster will add that Deadpool-esque as far as humor, but not that perverted, right? He doesn't have to go to that level. But the arrogance, the cockiness, the just the overall way he acts, I think he can add a lot of comedic value. And we have said in a previous video where instead of it seeming ill-timed, that's just booster, right? And I think you need that, especially if you're doing stark contrast of you got this dark, gritty Peacemaker type shit going on, but then you're trying to, put that with light and hopeful Superman. I think Booster's a good bridge for like comedy that you would need, but it doesn't have to be R-rated. So,
Mhm.
yes, Booster. I'm not tapping Booster, but the project we're tapping that. So, Batman the Brave and the Bold. Now, I feel like we all know what we're gonna say on this one, but Mantis, you
Look,
tapping it?
whether it's I'm a business exec working at Warner Brothers or DC Studios, there's no way you scrap anything Batman. It's just bad business to do that. I don't care what it is. You need to put it out there. Now that doesn't count for stupid ass CW shows. Not counting decisions that they make for their dumb agendas. However, the thing I like about the Brave and the Bold is the fact that this is going to bring in a character that we haven't seen very much of in Damian Wayne. So I'm all for this. Tap it. I think it's an odd choice to be waiting. The last I looked, it was like 2028. The end of 2028 was when this is supposed to happen. I think that's too long to bring a main character that is part of the Justice League, but also it's a main character in DC Comics. It's like Superman. He's just a main character. Waiting so long to bring him into the DCU is just a mistake, in my opinion. I get he's kind of between a rock and a hard place with the Batman going on at the same time, but and we've had our video discussions on that as well. It's not like I don't understand the choice. I'm just saying it's not what I would have done. And I think the Brave and the Bold, there's great casting for Batman out there. We were just discussing Jensen Ackles playing that character because, like, man, he played like how he played Soldier Boy on The Boys. Totally fits in with how he could play Batman and Batman Brave and the Bold. And I like the idea of Damian Wayne coming in there. So yeah.
So now you can take this one either of two ways. You can take it of, do we scrap the Brave and the Bold, but we do a different Batman project? Or do we scrap just having Batman in right now in the DCU? Let's go with what Mantis is saying, though, keeping a Batman project in, regardless whether it's Batman the Brave and the Bold or not. I agree with him, though. I think Brave and the Bold's good because we also know that Gunn has said he wants an older Batman, right?
Mhm.
Well, you get a little bit older Batman, the one that's going to help, kind of form the Justice League. Well, that leaves opening for either going a Terry McGinnis doing a Batman Beyond or bringing Damian Wayne in here, right? So I think it's a great idea. And I also agree with Mantis to the fact that as much as it pains me to say, there are more people out there that like Batman than Superman. There's just, I mean, there's the darkness,
Worldwide, at
everything
least.
the way, yeah, worldwide, you know,
Yeah.
the darkness, everything he kind of brings to the table versus a lot of people think Superman's lame because kind of what happens when you OP a character and then like, well, you make him a bitch if he's getting injured, but then because he shouldn't be, but then if he's if he's too overpowered, then it's not fun. There's no pleasing somebody when you have an overpowered character. So we
I've
need a
got
Batman.
laser eyes. What am I gonna do with it? Heat up some old woman's porridge?
Porridge. Is that soup too cold,
Nerd.
madam? Exactly.
Sorry.
You're late.
You're wearing eye makeup.
Fuck you! I didn't just inherit my abilities from a different fucking atmosphere. This air makes me strong. You fucking nerd.
The
college
Batman
humor.
college humor just
yeah.
going there. Yeah.
I'll always have that probably showing up as while we're saying that here. Do my best to try to link that in there. Go see it. Go watch that video. It's College Humor if you haven't seen them. They are great. But we do need a Batman, so that's getting tapped. Now, this next one's kind of tied to it, and I don't necessarily know thoughts on this one. Is we know there's been talks of the dynamic duo, which is the couple of different versions of Robin coming together to be the dynamic duo. Mantis?
Not a fan. Scrap it.
All right. I agree. Scrap it. Want to move
Sorry.
on?
Yeah, so I don't even know what else to talk about. Like, Robin is not the seller here. That's like, it's to me, it's in the same vein of the Jimmy Olsen show. Like, who the fuck cares? Like, I'm sorry, maybe I'm just
To me, those seem like what Marvel was doing when and what they tried to do with Star Wars, where you just try to overload too many shows to play off of. We need something, and it's like let's have a bunch of shows, and you're like, well, most of them are just kind of pointless, right? And you didn't even put a
yeah,
good amount of writing into it and effort. Uh,
yeah,
it's like we
yeah,
just it's kind of like if you watch Boys, like, oh, we had AI write it,
yeah, right.
That's kind of what it seems like. So I'm good to scrap that one. If you differ, guys, if you want to see the dynamic duo, let us know down in the comments if that one's making your list and we're just being insane by not giving it more of a shot. Now, for me, it would take a miracle to want to actually greenlight the project or tap that project for the dynamic duo. But
Mm.
with that miracle, how do you feel about Mr. Miracle?
Oh, this should happen. I mean, we've discussed this before because for like the whole backstory of Apocalypse, you don't get a lot of that other than through the old animated series. And if correct me if I'm wrong, I think this Mr. Miracle is supposed to be an animated, um, um, it's an animated show, right? Correct me if
Yes.
I'm wrong on that. Yeah,
Yes, that, it is animated.
okay. The Mr. Like I forget the character's name, his actual like name.
Scot
Um,
free.
yes. The whole like you could go pretty dark with it if he's gonna do it like Creature Commandos and make it kind of adult. You just because of the shit that he got put through on Apocalypse. Like, plus there's tie in there if he wants to go, into the mainline dark side, big bar, all that stuff into the main movies.
It opens the pathway, right? Now, like
Yeah.
you have Mr. Miracle to explain Apocalypse. You don't have to try to justify it in your movies. There's your pathway of, hey, yeah, because you could do flashbacks with him and Big Barter escape Apocalypse, and you got the
Mhm.
female Furies, you got all that. All of that's taken care of in an animated. I see. That's where I feel like animated would be good versus Creature Commandos. I feel like you just didn't add like a lot of shit happened that didn't mean anything in the movie thus far. Now, again, I know there's only been the one movie yet so far, so I'm not judging it too hard. I'm just saying that I feel like something like this, we're trying to introduce another planet,
Mhm.
one of Superman's greatest enemy, like that, I think works. So
Mhm.
tap it, definitely. Yes, we need the Mr. Miracle. Now what we don't need. Waller.
Uh,
Now we know at the end we just talked about Peacemaker season 3, how it 2 ended. We know it kind of sets up with Checkmate how at the end of Peacemaker season 2 kind of setting up the Waller, and we know this has been a project that's been talked about. I fucking hate Amanda Waller. Fucking
yes.
hate Amanda Waller. I want her gone. I scrap that motherfucker. Like,
Yep.
here's my thing. This is the annoying part. I think actually every actress that has played Amanda Waller in live action here in recent times, let's say in the last, since 2000 ish,
Mhm.
actually are amazing. Because if you think you had Pam Grier, who played
Yeah.
Amanda
I
Waller
like that.
in
I like Pam Grier. Yeah.
Jackie Brown, but she played
Yeah.
Amanda Waller in Smallville. You have Angela Bassett, who played her in Green Lantern, the movie, in 2011. I thought she did. I mean, she's an amazing actress. Then you have the Cynthia, I think it's a hyphenated name, but Robinson or whatever, who she was on the
Suicide Squad.
CW. She played
Oh,
CW. And then you have Viola Davis, who plays her in the current iteration with Peacemaker and, all of that good stuff. And Black Adam, all that. She is our current Amanda Waller. So all of them are actually great actresses. Has nothing to do with the actors playing her. I hate the fucking character. I don't like her being injected into all this. Like, no. And I understand, don't get me wrong. I understand there's a lot that goes on with Cadmus Labs and her and being behind the scenes, but just how she's been portrayed in live action and her tie-ins, I'm like, no. No, like
yeah.
I'm done. It's almost like with Lex Luthor at this point. I'm done with Amanda Waller.
Yeah. It's the same for me. It's exactly the same. Lex, that's a good point. And again, Nicholas Holt played great Lex. But here's the thing: we've seen Lex so much, right? We've seen so much of Amanda Waller through the live action and in shows and movies. And at this point, I'm just like, I just don't give a shit. Like, I really don't care. I don't care anything about Amanda Waller or but it's a time to give. I just don't give a shit. Like, I don't care. I won't watch it. I'll tell you that right now. I just don't care. So yeah, scrap it.
Scrap it. We could use the money elsewhere. So
Yeah.
now, Swamp Thing. Here's the thing. We know, again, CW, there was a Swamp Thing. We got to see him show up in the Crisis and all this other good stuff. We know in the comics, we've seen him show up in the Justice League Unlimited new series that we are doing here on the channel. Obviously, he's the champion of the green, right? We love Swamp Thing. I think Swamp Thing can be a cool kind of almost Clayface-ish, but go on the good side, but it could be a little darker. It could be a little more horror. I don't want to say horror, but nightmares, because it's going to take place a lot in darkness and things like that. I think you can make it really, really cool. I'd like to see a Swamp Thing.
Okay.
That sounded wrong.
Well, yeah. I don't know. Again, this kind of falls under the creature command or the creature commandos aspect of. I just don't. If we can put that money somewhere else and make something else, I'm fine with it. Like I say scrap Swamp Thing. I don't think he's a big enough character to carry enough interest to carry a movie or a show. I don't know. That's just I'm just not maybe I'm not really a Swamp Thing fan anyway, so that could be partly playing into it as well. So
there's not wrong for that. Everybody has their opinions, man. So maybe we'll see him show up in Creature Commandos, And if you're going to keep Creature Commandos going, maybe that's the best spot for him, right? You got all the monsters, right? And if you did that, I'd be okay with that too. But I'd still I'd like to see, even if you do it as not necessarily filler, but just kind of doing its own thing and it's loosely tied. I think it just
like an Elseworlds type thing.
Not Elseworlds, just kind of in the DCU, but really just doing its own thing. That's not really tied into none of the characters, but really shit going on with the planet. And I don't mean to go all green and like that with it. I just mean like something, whether it be Apocalypse or whatever. I think you could do it. I think it'd be kind of cool to see him in a live action movie, just because we haven't really. I mean, we've seen him in TV, but not really in a live action movie. Really, but you know what I mean. And the last we have on the list here is Teen Titans. Now, I'll probably get hate for it. I like the Titans show. It could have been better, yeah, but we can say that about a lot of these TV shows and such. I like the Titans show for what it was, and you're working on a budget here. Do I need a Teen Titans movie? Kind of with the dynamic duo with me, not really. I think if you're gonna do Teen Titans, you would do it towards the end of maybe Gods and Monsters or something, where maybe you got to set up the next set of younger actors and actresses and say, hey, we're gonna pass the torch to the sidekicks, right? I think you could do something like that. Even if you wanted to go almost like a Young Justice, like, hey, by the time we get everybody, all of our main big characters through first several movies, there's your phase 2 or phase 3. But I don't think we need it in the first chapter of Gods and Monsters.
I kind of like I like the Titan show. I think they should have continued that actually. But this is, I don't know. I'll just say tap it, okay? Because, and really the only thing with this, and maybe it's just because the only place that I've seen him kind of mentioned, especially in the old animated series, which I think is what everyone's assuming they're kind of draw inspiration from for this movie. There's a couple things that I don't like about it is don't like, it's just kind of concerning, I guess. The person who wrote the script for Supergirl is kind of tagged to handling the screenplay for this, supposedly. There's some with the Titans. There's also some odd heroes that show in there. Raven, Beast Boy would be kind of weird. It didn't do bad. It's just I want Cyborg. I like Cyborg as a superhero. He's got some cool shit. In fact, even the most of the cool shit that he does, you only get to see a real glimpse, a little bit of it in the Zack Snyder's Justice League, not the OG Justice League, but the Zack Snyder's Justice League, of some of the cool shit that he can do. I just want to see him kind of explored a little bit more, and I think Titans would be a way to do that. And plus, you can bring, you could bring in Dick Grayson as Nightwing. I mean, you could do some other, supporting role characters that kind of fit into the mainline stuff as well through there. I don't know. I think it's worth a shot, so I say tap it.
All right. Well, there we go. So, guys, let us know, what are your thoughts on this list? What are you tapping? What are you scrapping? Right? Again, it's your opinion. You're allowed to have your
Oh, yeah.
opinions on here. We don't always make, we're not always right
Look,
on everything.
This is all the stuff we just went over is literally our opinion. This is not fact. It's not like, I mean, you're allowed to disagree with us for sure. Like we disagreed on several of these. I say,
Yeah.
as we went through. So, yeah.
But look at that. We can still maintain a healthy Discord here and we can continue a show. So let us know down in the comments what your thoughts on them are, what you'd like to see scrapped or tapped. And while you're doing that, if you have made it with us this far, might as well go ahead and give the video a like, subscribing to the channel, and having the bell notifications clicked. That way you get alerted every time we release videos like this, as well as everything we are doing in the comic book universe. We just expanded our already 6 of the Absolutes with Absolute Green Arrow, and we're getting ready. Absolute Catwoman's getting ready to drop. We are doing Justice League Unlimited, and we have started with DC Next Level. We have had Lobo, and I believe Mantis is going to have Deathstroke coming out here soon, so be on the lookout for that. And the way you do that is have the bell notification clicked. Mantis, do you have anything else?
No.
All right. And that is going to wrap it for us on this episode of You, Me, and DC. Till next time, guys. We'll see you then.
Bye-bye.
Oh, man.